Hey guys, it's Emily Evergreen. I thought I would go ahead and film my Q&A video today since I am working from home and since it's sunny in Portland today. I'm so excited. I have my list right here on my computer, so if you see me looking this way, that's what I'm doing. Here it goes, let's jump right in. What do you do for work? I am a communications assistant slash in-house graphic designer slash social media coordinator for a national native nonprofit. I'm also doing some part-time freelance graphic design work, which is really exciting, and some freelance social media stuff, and looking for new clients. So that's what I do for work right now. What's my favorite time of year? Summer is my favorite time of year, especially in Portland. It's the perfect amount of sunshine. It lasts all day, like from 7 a.m. to like 9:30 p.m. It's so good, and there's so much stuff to do in Portland too during the summer, and all the outdoor stuff ever you could ever want. What's my favorite alcoholic beverage? I try not to drink that much, but when I do go out for dinner and have a drink, I'll have a Jack and Coke. It's a classic. Why did you move to the PNW, and how did you decide? What inspired you to move out there? Was it emotional? Are you staying forever? So I decided to move to the Pacific Northwest with my best friend at the time. We drove across the country from our hometown in Florida. You know, I think for her, she really wanted to be with her brother. I just wanted to get out of my hometown, I think. And I thought that I had done enough growing there that I needed to move on somewhere else. And when we got here, she moved back home after a really short amount of time, and I stayed and lived out in my car for half a year or so. That was really challenging. It was emotional. It was partially spiritual. I just felt a draw here. And am I staying forever? I love the Pacific Northwest. I don't know if I want to stay forever. I'm not a big city kind of person. So if it got anything like Seattle, I don't think I could make it possible, but I am thinking about Bend. What are my passions, and how do I incorporate them into my daily life? I'm really passionate about kids. I say that's like my number one passion is the well-being of children. So the way that I work that into my everyday life is I work for a national nonprofit whose mission is the well-being of Native children and families. So that's awesome. I am super passionate about positivity and teaching people that they have the power within themselves to achieve their dreams if they want. And believing in yourself is the motivation to do the work that you have to do to get to your dream. So that's what I'm passionate about. How I incorporate that into my daily life is, I would say, through Instagram. I love being a part of this community who motivates each other and encourages each other through really hard times that life can bring. I'd say another one of my passions is being outside. I just really like to get away from people and connected to nature, and the way that I incorporate that into my daily life changes throughout the seasons. I mean, I've lived in Portland for 2.5 years now, but I still haven't really mastered the winter rainy season and how long it lasts. That really keeps me inside sometimes when it comes to like my daily life. But during the summer, I run every single day, and I try to hit a trail. There's one really close to my house, so I do that. That's how I incorporate it into my daily life. Then on weekends, I try my best to get out and hike on the weekends. How do I balance work with hiking? Do I work full-time? I work 40 hours a week at the nonprofit that I work for, and I also do freelance graphic design and social media coordination with a few other people. So I end up working somewhere between 50 and 60 hours a week. How do I balance work with hiking, and tips for energy and motivation? Hiking centers me. Hiking makes me feel like I'm well-rounded and centered. I don't know how else to say that. It's important to me to make time for those things that make me happy. And I live so close to so many beautiful places. Portland is like 2 hours away from the coast, an hour away from the mountain, like an hour away from the gorge, if that even. So there's just so many good opportunities to get out there. And I remember being in Florida, and like the closest mountains were like 8 hours away. So I try to take advantage of what I have and not take it for granted. What are my tips on not comparing myself to other women on social media? Before, when I started using Instagram and really trying to cultivate some sense of community and express who I am, because I am such a extroverted person. I do like to talk with people and meet new people. I love experiencing the world through other people. So I think at first it was really hard for me not to compare myself to others, especially on Instagram when everyone shares like just the highlights of their life. Once I fully realized that there are people who use Instagram as a business, and that's not necessarily bad. I take everything that I see on Instagram with a grain of salt. It's also one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about like sharing positivity and sharing that you have power within you to do the things that you want to do. The goals that you have, the dreams that you have, you can achieve those with hard work and staying motivated, being consistent. It's really important for me to share that because when I first was using Instagram, that was a big barrier for me. I compared myself a lot, and I don't want people to do that on my feed. I don't want them to see me and not see there are hard times too, that I am positive, and I like to maintain a positive outlook on life because it makes my life happier. Everyone goes through hard times, and everyone has hard times. So that's how I maintain perspective. What's my running playlist recommendation? I get told, oh, Gizmo, pup. I get told all the time that I have a bad taste in music. I don't know if my running playlist is the same as everyone else's running playlist, but generally what I listen to when I run is like, I mean, I like it, so it's not really bad to me, but I guess really bad trap music and like hip hop music and rap music. Maybe one day I'll share my playlist with everyone. I don't have a good running playlist recommendation because I make my own. Favorite sports bras for hiking, camping, physical activity. Okay, so before I lost like 65 pounds, I had like triple D's. I think I was 34 triple D. Running with big boobs is just a real hassle, and it's something you have to adjust to. I understand your pain with this. Now that I'm smaller and my chest is smaller, I run with like really simple like Nike running bras, or even Old Navy. Like I think right now I'm wearing an Old Navy sports bra, and those you'll see a lot in my, like during the summer, that's all I wear to hike in. But if you have a bigger chest, I highly recommend getting a sports bra that has more structure. And like normally those sports bras are the ones that have the clasps in the back. I think was an Adidas one, but it was just much more structured, and that's what you need, is like you need the ones with cups. You need it to be tight to hold them down. Do I have the constant urge to go? How do I manage to stay content with where I am? I used to have a really big problem not ever being content, and it wasn't necessarily with where I was like in the world, just where I was in my life. I think that the way that I overcame that was by realizing like I'm super young and I'm taking steps, and as long as I'm taking those steps, I am I have to be satisfied with myself because I'm doing the best that I can. I do have the constant urge to travel. I wouldn't necessarily say like internationally, get on flights, go all over the place. I have the constant urge to be outside exploring. It doesn't necessarily have to be somewhere different. It just has to be somewhere beautiful and outside. I think contentment comes when you are really aligned with all the things that you hold value to. So if your value is traveling, then taking the steps that you need to take to have that sort of lifestyle, working remotely, that's what I would love to do. Taking the steps that you need to take to do that, that's what's going to keep you content, because you'll still be moving forward even if you're in the same place. What advice can I give to someone who wants to move to the PNW like I did? Expect that you're not going to know what to expect, because even though I knew in my head that everything was going to be different than where I'm from, having that experience of the first time like really exploring anywhere other than underneath the Mason-Dixon line was like really wild to me. I knew that it was going to be new, but you can't be prepared for that. You can be prepared in that you shouldn't move without a job. I don't really recommend that. I did because I'm crazy. I got a job at a temp agency. That was my first job. So if you're going to go without a job, definitely go to a temp agency and see where they can get you stat. Get in touch with some community around here. Like there's definitely some hiking communities on Facebook. I know for me, I'm in Mountain Chicks PNW, and there's also Portland Hikers. There's a ton of Facebook groups for that, for building community like that. So I definitely recommend that. What should you pack on your first hiking trip? There's this thing called the top 10 essentials, and I would look that up if you're going hiking. It definitely depends on the time of year and the place that you're going. I try to always have extra food, an extra layer, water, a headlamp, some sort of first aid, and then something to start a fire with. That's my go-to day hiking situation. Definitely look up the top 10 essentials. What to eat before/during a hike. Again, it depends on your preferences and where you're going and how long your hike is and how strenuous it is. I personally like to take apples or bananas and like peanut butter or almond butter. I have this thing called Yum Butter, and it's delicious, and it has like chia seeds and hemp seeds and goji berry in it. That's what I normally take, along with like some carrots and maybe some hummus or guac. This is like strictly for a day hike. If I'm eating overnight, then I'll normally take one of those little backpacking meals just because they're really simple. My friends aren't interested in hiking. How do I better my skills? Should I take a class at REI? Should I do meetups? I also had this problem where I was like, man, I can't go hiking because none of my friends want to go hiking. But I know that the PNW definitely has a ton of Facebook meetup groups. They host hikes. I think there's Girls Who Hike Oregon and Girls Who Hike Washington. There's Mountain Chicks PNW, there's Portland Hikers, and that's where I met most of my favorite hiking friends. I personally want to take a class at REI, so if you'd like to join me, hit me up. But I think that'd be a great way to meet people. And really, Instagram is another great way to meet people to go hiking with. What got me started enjoying the outdoors? When I was 7, my parents took me to our first trip in Cherokee, North Carolina, where the Quarry Boundary is, which is the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. They're like, it's not their reservation, but it's their land, their trust land. I fell in love with the mountains there. The Blue Ridge Mountains are so beautiful and so cozy, and we stayed in this cabin and watched powwows. It was this beautiful mix of native culture that I connected with so deeply, and the beautiful like wilderness of North Carolina and Tennessee area. What can't I leave home without? I love to bring coffee. That's probably my luxury item. I love to make coffee with my boyfriend. How much does my backpack weigh? This also depends on where I'm going or how long I'm staying. For like a standard backpacking trip, I try to stay between 30 and 40 pounds. It really depends on how long I'm staying and all I have to carry, because there's going to be a big difference between a day hike where I don't have to carry my tent, any like a sleeping bag or anything like that, and then overnight where I do have to carry those things. Have I ever thought of hosting a group hike? I would love to host a group hike, but then I also get really nervous that I won't be able to give my full attention to everyone. But if you're interested in doing a group hike, let me know and I will definitely figure something out. All right, guys, those are the questions that were asked most often through DM on Instagram. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. I try my best to respond to all of them, though it does take me a little bit of time. Sometimes it depends on how many I get. I love talking to you guys and answering your questions, so don't be scared. I don't bite. All right, love you guys. Bye.